Thanks for tuning in to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. Here you'll find tips, insight, and information to help your music and your ministry succeed. Whether you're a singer, a musician, or a songwriter, we want to help you where you are, but we also want to help you get to where you want to go. We believe that our talents are God's gift to us, but what we do with those are our gift back to God. Yesterday's information is important, but what we can learn today will make this the best day yet. Hey everybody, Rob Novell here, and it is time for another episode of the CNS podcast, The Best Day Yet. Hope you've enjoyed these and are getting some good information out of these. It's our goal at the Charles Novell School of Music to help people with their music and their ministry any way that we can. And we're constantly trying to find new methods, new avenues, new lanes to be able to do that. And this podcast is just that. So hope you've enjoyed. We've had 4 regular episodes. And just last Thursday, we released the first of what we're calling the CNS Vault Classics. We have a ton of information that we have held on to through the years, and we're going to be releasing those. So that was episode 5, and that was a special piano arranging for solos seminar that my dad had taught, and we released part 2 of that will be coming out shortly. But today we've made it all the way up to episode 6, and we're going to be talking a unique topic. We're going to talk about talent versus skill. We're going to look at the difference between those two words and truly break that down. But before we do, I want to take just a quick second to remind you of a few things that are coming around the corner with the Charles Novell School of Music. The first thing is October 24th through the 28th, we're going to be doing our CNS online session for 22. We call this the Interactive Virtual Experience. And we will have, it's unique because it is a full week of the Charles Novell School of Music. However, you do it from the privacy of your own home. You don't even have to take off work to be part of this. And here's why. We will be meeting the 24th through the 28th. There'll be some live sessions in the evening taking place, but there are over 75 video courses that you get in your tuition as part of this experience. And they're going to cover everything from vocal seminars to instrumental. We have music theory classes happening. We have classes in sound systems. We have technology classes teaching you how technology can help you and help your ministry go further. We will have different business-related seminars like radio and booking and promotion and that type of thing. So we have several different workshops in the format. We have classes in the format. And also, you're going to get one set of private lessons, which is one-on-one instruction with you and an instructor. Here's the unique thing about this. You get 30-day access to the content. So that's why you don't have to take off work, because you don't have to be in front of your computer all week long, October 24th through the 28th. You're going to get 30 days to complete all of the information that is available to you. So that makes it unique. You can study from the privacy of your own home without even having to take off work. It's a great way for you to further your singing, your musicianship, songwriting, whatever it is. I didn't mention a while ago, but we have songwriting classes that will take place during this as well. So lots of neat things happening at the CNS Interactive Virtual Experience, October 24th through 28th. If you're interested in that, you can visit us on our website, cnsmusic.com, and get more information. and sign up to be part of the online school for 22. Also, November 4th and 5th, we have a regional weekend event coming up in Cincinnati, Ohio. We are doing this alongside the GCSGMA, which is the Greater Cincinnati Southern Gospel Music Association. We're going to be meeting at New Burlington Church of Christ on Friday night, November 4th, and again on Saturday. We'll have various seminars and breakout sessions going on. During that, we will have performance training classes where you can perform and you'll be critiqued by the staff that's there. Private lessons are available if you have an interest in studying privately that weekend. So this is coming up again November 4th and 5th. I'm so excited about this. A, I'm home. It gives me a chance to be home. B, we have a couple guys that are local in Cincinnati that are great instructors and no secret to gospel and Christian music. Roy Webb is going to be with us. Roy traveled and played with Ernie Haas in Signature Sound. He also traveled with Gold City. Actually, right now he's out with, I believe, Daly and Vincent, and has a stint at the Grand Ole Opry coming up this weekend. That's pretty exciting. Go Roy, go God. Also going to be with us that weekend is Brian Hudson. And Brian was the lead singer in the Kingsmen for about a decade. And what an amazing singer. What an amazing person. So this is an opportunity. I'll be there as well. Let me insert me. But it'll be myself, Roy Webb, and Brian Hudson teaching at the Cincinnati Weekend Regional. So if you're anywhere near the Cincinnati area, again, you can visit us on the website, www.cnsmusic.com. and register for this event. Okay, let's get into today. Today, this is episode 6, and we are talking talent versus skill. Man, I've had this debate numerous times over the years with people that wanted to try to tell me that there wasn't a difference between the two. There's a huge difference between talent and skill. Basically this, talent, the term talent refers to an inborn or special ability of a person to do something. It doesn't matter what it is. Obviously here we're talking at CNS, we're talking music. But you can be born with a talent to cook, a talent to decorate your home. Your talent may be cooking. Your talent may be music. It may be athletics. It may be your mind, your level of thinking and creativity. That may be your talent, but it is something that we are born with. The entrance to our podcast talks about, we believe that our talents that God gave us are our gifts from Him, and what we do with them are our gifts back to God. So I believe talents are things that you are clearly born with. Now, on the note of music, I'll be completely honest. I've been in this my whole life. I have grown up in this school. My dad produced in the recording studios. As a kid, I would go and hang out in the recording studios with my dad. I don't know if he wanted me to be there and observe all that, or Mom wanted me to be there so she didn't have to observe me. I don't know. But I was there. I grew up kind of cutting my teeth. And here was the thing. Some of my earliest memories as a child, I remember being in that control room, looking out, watching my dad, watching the other musicians do what they were doing. And I'm like, I want to do that. And by the time I was 13, I started playing bass guitar on those sessions that Dad was producing, and have done that ever since. So absolutely love being able to do that. Now, my situation is this. Couple stories on this area of talent. Debated with someone this as well. I believe this way. Yes, I believe that talent can be passed generation to generation. I believe it can be in our DNA. And here's why. My dad taught me, it started me young. I was like 4.5. And he told me when he could balance me on the piano bench, he put me there. I have a sister. She's 2 years older than I am. She studied as well. And it didn't work for my sister. She didn't stick it out. She decided that music wasn't for her. And that's okay. She is gifted in multiple ways, far beyond what I can do in certain areas. But here's the thing. She quit. My dad decided to get me with an outside teacher. Why? He didn't want me to do the same thing. And years later, he told me the reason was he had seen an ability in me. He saw a talent in me. He saw a God-given gift. And he didn't want me to waste that, or he didn't want the situation. So he got me with an outside teacher. That didn't last. That worked for about a year. And then Dad and I got back to business and where we were supposed to be. So I do believe that it can be passed along and that you can be born with it. But I also, I'll say it this way. I have been in this again a long time. And there are very honestly, this may come across like he said, what? I have seen a small number of truly talented people in Christian music, gospel music, the circles that I've grown up in. I've seen a lot more skilled people, musicians, singers, songwriters. I've seen a lot more skilled than I have talented people. We tend to get that word confused and messed up. And let's think about it for a minute. You're at a friend's house. They invited you over for dinner. Dinner's over. You're sitting in the living room drinking coffee, and their 1.5-year-old child comes walking into the room. You don't set your coffee cup down and proclaim, "Look at that talented walker." That's not something that he was born doing. Let's face it. Did any of you have children and your kids like, "Okay, mom and dad, it's time to bolt. Let's leave this hospital." They went out, they called the elevator, they took you down, they got the car, they drove you home. No, the walking, the talking were skills that were developed over time. So, we tend to get them a little bit sideways, a little bit confused. I know for me that word talent was a dangerous thing growing up, and here's why. At a young age, 14, 15, I started hearing people, wow, that's a talented young man. People would tell me that, "Robbie, you are a very talented individual." And you know what? I believe them to the point that I'm like, okay, you know what? This just comes easy to me. I don't really have to work. If I'm this talented, I don't need to work at this. And boy, two things. I remember, I won't share the one, I will share the other. The first, I fell flat on my face in a situation. And you know what? It was one of the best things ever to happen to me. The second thing, this very school, I was 15, getting ready to turn 16, about a month after the summer school. And I walked in for a bass guitar lesson. And I just told you, at age 13, I started playing in the recording studios, making $20 an hour as a 13-year-old kid. And I was doing that every weekend from 13 to 15, getting ready to turn 16. And I sat down for this bass guitar lesson, and I won't mention his name, but he was an amazing friend of our family. And he said, "Robbie, sit down, get your bass guitar out. We got a lot to cover because you ain't near as good as you think you are." And I'm like, he said, "What?" Y'all, I got mad. I got upset. I shut down. It was probably, I wasted 10 minutes of my own lesson because all I heard was what he said, that I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And then the next 10 minutes, he sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. I wasn't listening because I had shut down. But that was a huge day for me. It was a pivotal day. And my music, specifically on the bass guitar, but more importantly, honestly, in my life, it was an awakening type of thing for me. So let's talk about skill. Skill is an ability in which you put time and effort into something to develop that something. Again, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it is cooking, music, sports. You have to put forth the effort. So I teach privately here in the Atlanta area where we live. And I have 36 students a week. I teach at 2 different church academies. And then I have some virtual students. So I'm teaching 40 plus students a week. And I'll be honest. And, students, if you're listening, I hope you aren't offended by this, but just hang with me. I can take anybody. I don't care who you are. I can take anybody into my practice private lesson studio and teach them music. I can teach them to play the piano. I can teach them to play the guitar, the bass guitar. We can work theory. We can work recording. We can talk different things by topic. But I can teach anybody from the outside in. Meaning, if I give you the pieces of the puzzle and you put forth the effort, you can put the puzzle together. Now, on the other side of that, I've been teaching since I was a junior in high school. I went to a local music store to sign up for lessons. And long story short, before I left, I was offered a job. And I took that job and started teaching that following week, and have been teaching ever since. I was 17 when that happened. So I've taught a ton of people over the years. And on one hand, I could count the talented students that I met and walked into my private lesson studio. So here's my job with them. The talent is in them. It is my job to pull that talent from the inside out. I was thinking about this concept of talent versus skill, and I can teach anybody, but depending whether you have talent or not, my approach to teaching has to change. I was thinking through that, and I heard a sermon, and the preacher was talking about how we were formed, how man was formed in the Genesis, that God reached down and picked up a handful of dirt, blew in that dirt, and formed man. And he broke that down, and this was such a revelation for me. He broke it down and said this: when God picked that dirt up and blew into that dirt, he literally was blowing his DNA into that dirt. Well, if that dirt formed and created man, then that simply means that God's DNA is in each and every one of us. Because what is not up for debate today is how we got here. We got here because the Almighty God himself decided to create us. So when he picked up that dirt and blew in and formed man, he placed his DNA. He placed it inside of you. He placed it inside of me when we were born. The creator of the universe created us. The creator of the universe DNA is inside of us. So that means we were created to be creatives. So I think at all cost, we should work hard. We should develop our skills, develop our abilities, develop our desires to be absolutely the best that we can be. We're creative individuals because we were created by the Creator. Constantly be looking for new ways to improve what you do, new ways to deliver what you do, new ways to package what you do, new ways to give what it is that you do, that you have to offer and to give to someone. So here's the thing. I want to charge you if you're working from talent. Here's the thing. Talent's only going to take you so far. And then if you don't develop it, that's as far as you're going to get with it. So at some point, talent and skills intersect. Talent takes you so far, then you have to work, you have to put the effort in, you have to put the time into your craft. The only way you're going to accomplish, I tell my students this, what you get out of music is what you put into music. It's kind of like the ATM. If I need money and I go to the ATM tomorrow to withdraw money out of that ATM, the only way I'm going to be able to make a withdrawal is if I have made a deposit into my account. Same thing happens with our music. We have to put the effort in. We have to put the time in so we can then at some point make a withdrawal. I'm 53, been doing this my whole life, and I'm starting to notice. I feel like I'm just starting to get into that season that I'm able to start making some withdrawals on all the deposits that I've made through the years. What do I mean by that? There are certain things that starting to come a little easier to me now than they did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, definitely 20 years ago. And I feel like the deposits that I've made through the work, the effort, the practice, we already have done one of these episodes on practice. Practice, you all, is vitally important to what we do. What you get out of this, again, is what you put into this. So I said earlier that I believe talent is true talent, I believe, is possessed by a limited number of people. You're not going to find talented people on every corner. It's going to be about every one out of 100 corners. On the other hand, I believe any person can learn a particular skill if he has the capacity, the capability, and here's the big word, the willingness to put the time in. I'll keep this simple again with my students. I'm not a teacher that hollers and screams about practice. Sometimes the students that I talk to more about practice, and you may think, wow, that's backwards. It's some of my students that I do believe that I see that talent in them. Why? I think maybe it was what was troubling and burdening my dad when he got me with an outside teacher. I believe a talent is something that we can't waste. A talent is something that we need to make sure that we nurture and take care of. And so I sometimes talk more with my students. I've got a couple right now that I truly believe fall in this category. One young lady, I got a phone call and said, hey, we've got a 4-year-old. Are you willing to work with her? I'm like, the answer to that. I will definitely work with them at 4. There's a couple things I'll do. We'll do a couple trial lessons and see how things are going to go. I also will just work 15 minutes with those young ones like that because I know I can keep their attention for 15 minutes. So she came in and, man, I was blown away how quick that she took to things. And I noticed in that first lesson, my job with her, the gift was in there. It was my job to pull it from the inside out. So we've studied now. She's 7. I found out about 6 months in, she wasn't 4. She was 3.5, getting ready to turn 4. So by the time she was 4, we had worked through 2 entire lesson books, so a level 1A and a level 1B. We moved her into book 2. She is 7 now, and she's playing things that my 11 to 13-year-olds are playing. That's a talent. That's a gift. And again, I get the awesome opportunity to help her develop that and to help walk her forward with that music. And it's such a cool thing. She's a sweet little girl, talented young girl, and it's fun. Look forward to seeing her every week. Now, I said a word a while ago, willingness. I'll tell our CNS students this every year on Sunday night at orientation. The effectiveness of a teacher is directly proportioned to the openness of the student. So we've talked mindset when we talked practice back, several episodes back. Well, the second episode. So if you haven't tuned into that, listen to that. It's sometimes just a change in perspective that helps us with things. But here's the situation. Skill, anybody can acquire, anybody can develop it, but it's going to require you being open, you being willing to get in and do the hard work. I love when people somewhat want to challenge me and say, well, you're just teaching this stuff because you know this stuff. It's your opinion. And I'm like, you know what? No, it's not. It's biblical. Let's look. Psalms 33:3. What's it say? Sing to him a new song, play skillfully, and shout for joy. Did it say, sing to him a new song, play talentedly, and shout for joy? No. Skill, this acquiring, this work, this effort, this willingness, this openness, it's biblical, you all. Psalms 33:3, play skillfully. We got to put the time in. Now, here's what is essential to you developing your skill is coaching. You've got to be with someone that's going to help you get to your goals. If you truly want to be a singer, if you truly want to be a musician, if you truly want to be a songwriter, you need to be making goals and setting goals. And the best way to get there is to work with someone that's qualified to get you there. someone that will support you, will believe in you, will help you with your music, but will also be honest with you, like that teacher was to me at that summer bass lesson. Again, life-changing. Man, I think it's hard for me not to think back and get emotional at that day because I know how big that day was, and I've had the opportunity to thank that individual since then for that shift in my life and in that particular lesson. So coaching is vitally important. Listen, you need to be working with someone that can help you develop your skills. So that's why CNS is here. That's why we do what we do. I plugged our online school at the beginning. I plugged our next regional session in November, 2 events, one in October, one in November. This is an opportunity for you to get some coaching with someone that is qualified to help you get to where you need to go. In addition to these events, we also obviously have CNS 23 happening next summer. Start making plans now to attend. Man, it's almost to the point I'm going to quit asking and start telling, look, if you want to do this, this is the place for you to come. These podcasts are just little teasers and taste of what a full week experience is like at the Charles Novell School of Music. So start making plans now to be with us at CNS 23. The other thing that you can do, we have a thing called creative coaching. You can study now with our staff. If you want to study voice, I've got voice instructors. You want to study piano? Piano instructors. Guitar? Guess what? Guitar instructors. Songwriting? I'll hook you up. This is a good opportunity with our creative coaching to get some weekly coaching to help you develop these skills, to get you where you need to go. So if you're interested in that, you can contact us at www.cnsmusic.com. There's a tab there called Creative Coaching. You can fill out the application, submit that. I'll get back out to you and we can get you assigned with an instructor and get you going. So here's the thing. I believe, again, talent is something we are born with, a God-given gift. Very few of us out there, us, like I'm saying I'm talented. What I mean, I've said it several times, very few talented people on the face of this planet. That talent's only going to get them so far. At that point, they intersect with skill. Those of us, on the other hand, that have to work hard to develop something. See, when people were telling me, Robbie's talented, and I believed them, I had to really realize, you know what? I really wasn't, because I have to work at what I do. My daughter, on the other hand, my son, oh, y'all, I get so upset with them. Aaliyah got my dad's just giftedness, and she got my common sense, and everything comes so easy to her musically. And it's a love-hate relationship with me and her music. You'll pray for me. But listen, we can help you. CNS Creative Coaching, CNS Weekend Sessions, CNS Online, the National Summer Session in July. You need to mark your calendars to be part of these events. We're here to help you. We want to help you, and we want to help you develop those skills and perfect those talents. Thanks for listening to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the name the Charles Novell School of Music. And for more information on CNS and our upcoming events, like our online school, our weekend regional sessions, our creative coaching, and our pastor's retreat, you can visit us at our website at www.cnsmusic.com. As you've listened to this episode, we hope that you've gained some information that you can apply to your music and to your ministry to make today the best day yet.